Welcome to Alliecat Customs, where in this video, I'm going to be upping the attitude of this old beater with a big block and pulling a little bit of weight off the nose of this truck by removing this stock, bent up old steel hood and replacing it with a 4-inch fiberglass lift-off hood from Hardwood Hoods. So y'all stick around, it's going to be fun. Alright, so as most of y'all know that have these 73 to 80 Chevrolet trucks, you know that these hoods are really prone to bending just past the hood hinges, and the hood kind of just folds over when you try to close the hood. And there's a couple of different reasons why the hood does that. One is it's actually a crumple zone that goes across the center of the hood, so that when you're in a front-end collision, the hood will crumple in the center and fold up instead of trying to push the hood back into the cab of the truck. But it's an extra weak design, and as these hoods get old and more crusty, and more people trying to close the hoods and stuff, that when the hood hinges get old and not lubed properly and stuff, they'll tend to wear out. And also, the way people try to close the hoods, if they don't know how to close the hoods properly, they'll end up just folding the hood in half instead of making the hood close the way it's supposed to. So it's a couple of different reasons, and if you have one of these hoods, an OE style hood that isn't bent up, then make sure you keep those hinges lubed right and shut the hood properly so you don't ruin your hood. And a lot of these cheap aftermarket reproduction hoods, they're not in any kind of really good shape to last. They're not made really well. But this is actually an OE hood, and it's not in terrible shape, but it was starting to bend on the passenger side. So I went ahead and put these hood braces on, and I got these hood braces from LMC Truck, and I just screwed them into place, and it didn't exactly straighten the hood out, but it kept it from flapping in the wind when I had the hood up at car shows and stuff. So that was a win-win for me. And I mean, they don't look too terrible, and they're not so sturdy and stuff that you got to worry about the hood not folding up in the event of a crash. So they work just fine, and it wasn't that expensive, so I went ahead and run them. But I'm going to show you how these hoods, how the hinges work as far as trying to get the hoods to shut right, because it is kind of a special way of shutting this hood. It's not just like a more modern vehicle. So move the camera so I can show you the hood hinge and show you how when I open and close the hood, how the hood, if you do it the wrong way, the hinge will actually buckle and cause you to bend the hood as you try to shut the hood on these things. So let me set up right here. All right, so the way these hoods close is it's not like the more modern hood that just has a straight hinge and it has a pivot point where it just drops straight down. These hoods actually slide back as they come down. So if you actually grab this hood right here and pull straight down, you can see right here that you're not going to pull the hood down like that. You'll buckle the hood hinges, and then you'll always have problems trying to close the hood. And if you don't have these braces, you'll actually just fold the hood in half, especially if it's already been weakened by rust and stuff like that. So instead of trying to pull the hood straight down and close it, you actually have to push the hood back towards the windshield. That's what I did, just push my hands straight in line with the top of the hood, and it collapsed the hood hinges back to fold the hinges up. And then once you get it back to where they can come down, then the hood will come at an angle and drop on down, and it closes like that. Of course, I actually put this hood back on so I could show how the hinges work. So I don't even have the hood latch on here anymore. And me and my buddy James last night, after we was working on some other stuff, I threw the hood on, and the hinges aren't exactly all lined up. So that's why the hood don't look all square, because we didn't take the time, because we're about to pull the hood back off. So I got another hood to show you. I got my 4-inch lift-off hood already pulled out of packaging and had it sitting on here, test fitting everything, getting ready to mount it. So I'm about to pull this hood off. When James gets here, he's going to be here in a little bit. We're going to pull this hood off, and I'm actually going to weigh this stock hood and see how much it weighs, plus the hinges versus the fiberglass hood. See how much weight savings that I'm getting on the front of this truck. And then we'll get ready to start mocking up the hood pin locations and stuff, and get that fiberglass hood put on here, and move on to the next part of this project. You got yours up?
Yes, sir. 85.
85?
Oh, now it's a little closer to 90.
There we go.
Yep,
90 pounds. It's a heavy hood. That's 90 pounds with the hinges and everything connected. So get this off, get this hood put up, and we're gonna hang the fiberglass hood up here and see how much it weighs. Okay.
Drop.
We don't trip fall.
Yep.
Yeah, you can move this hood by yourself, but
About center.
yep, you got it. I'm clear over here, you clear there?
Yep.
Check it out. 24 pounds. That thing's so light now. So that's 24 pounds. So 90 pounds minus 24. Carry one do some math, about 66 pounds worth of weight. So, I mean, it's not gonna keep up with which trains I am. But that's 60-something pounds worth of weight pulled off the front of this truck. And we might actually see some daylight in the front tires.
Every little bit helps.
Can't wait. All right, let's get this thing, we'll put it on the, go ahead and put it on the truck now.
All right.
Man, this thing's so light.
It is much easier than a steel hood.
Yeah, no kidding. Still awkward as it can be being so huge. Man. Wait. I gotta sit on a wrench.
That's good enough. Yeah, I got it here too.
Alright, so as you can see, I got the hood final mounted, got it pinned on and everything. Me and James were really high-tailed it and worked real hard to get the hood mounted. And we had several other projects to do before a race weekend, which was the weekend that we started installing this hood. So I didn't really get much filming done, but I did take some pictures of the install, putting the pins on and stuff. So I'll talk you through that and show you what I did. But got it pinned on, and I think it looks good. The fit and finish of these hardwood hoods is usually pretty good. Now this is race car quality fitment. This isn't like high-end show car, some kind of wizardry, masterpiece finish. So don't expect that. It's definitely race car finish stuff. So there is some kind of big gaps and stuff, and it doesn't 100% flow like a really high-end quality show car piece would. But for race car quality stuff, it fits really well and looks good. And you can paint them and do some work to them, make these hoods look really good on a truck. But it is a lightweight pin-on fiberglass hood, so just keep that in mind when you start wanting to install one of these hoods. But I think it looks really good, especially on this old beater with a big block. I think it really adds to the attitude of this truck. So I'm really pleased with it. So I'm going to get started showing you step by step how I mounted the hood pins and how I got to where I am right here. So about to show you the steps right here. Alright, so the first step for installing this hood on this truck is to actually set the hood on your truck and check the fitment of it. Make sure you have all good gaps on either sides on both fenders, and that it fits along the front of the truck really well. And kind of line it up and make sure that you don't have anything in the way on this truck. The way these hoods are made, they actually have a skeletal system under them, and it's just a big square. It's a good thick rib, and the way that the skeleton part is on the back side, it actually comes right where the hood seal is on the firewall. So where I have it put on here is it's actually pushed pretty tight against the rubber gasket that would go between the factory hood and the firewall. So it gives it a good tight mount back here, but I had to make sure that I was going to be able to get the hood down and level enough without having to mess with the firewall. It fits really well, good and tight, and it allows the hood to not have a whole lot of movement or any kind of buffeting when you're going down the road and stuff. These hoods have a good thick rib all the way around, and it's designed so that you can actually cut it for clearance. And on the driver's side windshield wiper, I actually had to trim some of the lip on the back edge of my hood. So I'll show you where I cut it out. So I just put some tape over it, and I marked where I thought it needed to be cut for the windshield wiper arm. And then I just took a little Ryobi with a cut-off wheel, and I just cut that section off. And fits perfect. The windshield wipers are able to actually work without hitting the hood, so that's a good thing. I actually did that after I got the hood pinned on, but that's one of the fitment issues I had with my truck, was actually the windshield wiper. But once you get the hood sitting here, it's best to have somebody with you so you're able to easily get the hood on and off the truck. But the four corners is where I pinned it, and that's the easiest place to pin these hoods. There's actually stop bolts on all four corners of these hoods where the factory hood will sit down on and locate it. So what you do is you figure out where the flattest part of the hood is. On the back side, you have this kind of body line that bends up. So I actually did, and you can see in this picture that where the back stop bolt is, I come forward and over to get to a good flat spot of the cowl section of the firewall. And that's where I mounted the back pins on both sides. So I just drilled out the holes and for the hood pin itself, and then I took one of the lock nuts for the hood pin and actually welded it directly to the cowl section of the firewall. So it makes it a good, easy setup for putting the pin on, and it's make it really easy for you to be able to adjust it, because one nut is already welded to the cab. So you just break the jam nut loose, and then you can raise and lower your hood pin as needed to get the height right on it. And on the front, I did the same thing. I actually took the hood stop off on the front, and I drilled out in that same spot, and I welded the front hood pins on. And make sure you get all the hood pins pointing as straight up and straight together as you can as you go along. And once you get all four hood pins, put where you want them. And that's what I did, was just I lined up all four hood pins and got them welded on. And then the next step I did was I lowered the hood pins themselves just enough to where when we set the hood on, you can just push the hood down and feel the tip of the hood pin touching the hood itself. So when you feel a good pressure and you feel that it's bottoming out on the hood pin, I actually used some grease, and we stood the hood up and put the grease on the top edge of the hood pins. So when you set the hood back down, make sure you get real good and square. You set the hood down and then apply pressure over top where the hood pins are on all four corners. And that'll give you a good witness mark where the hood pin touches the hood. So then you can set the hood up and drill for the hood pins to pass through your hood. What I used was a step bit, and make sure that you're really careful, because this fiberglass hood is really soft and the step bits are pretty aggressive. So be real careful when you're doing it, and it's okay to go one size larger than the hood pin, or even two sizes larger. You will need a little bit of wiggle room as far as getting the hood lined up. So just don't allow it to blow through there and blow a massive hole through it. But it's okay to have a little bit bigger of a hole. You may actually have to egg the hole out on one hood pin hole on the hood, or one or two of them. I actually had to have two of them moved on mine. So having a little bit bigger of a hole isn't that big of a deal, because you have the hood pin plates that cover over it. So once you get all four holes cut out, then you can set the hood on and continue checking your placement. Check your gaps on the sides, check your fitment on the front, check for clearances around all four corners. And once you get the hood pins where it's going to be and the holes set out to where you can easily get the hood on and off, the next step is to install these hood pin plates. And all four of them, they have a protective film to keep one side nice and shiny in the packaging. And so you peel the film off after you get ready to finally install them. But what I do is actually, once you get the hood where you want it, you set the plates down, and you can mark the holes, and you can use the supplied screws I actually used a really small drill bit to start the hole with. So put the plate on there, you mark your holes, and then you use a really small drill bit to start it, and then you can just screw the hood plates down. These plates themselves, they actually are what secures the hood and allows doesn't allow the hood to try to pull up through them. It gives it a good solid base to keep the hood pinned down. And since the hole is just a little bit larger than the hood pin itself, it really keeps the hood from trying to wiggle side to side. So if you have any holes that are egged out, these hood plates are actually your saving grace to allow you to actually egg them holes out and cover up any mistakes. If you get one of these holes a little too far crooked, just don't let anybody look on the underside and see your egged out holes. So that's why I keep this one right here. Just don't look at this one. It looks kind of like a U, not a hole, but that's a story for another day. But anyways, so that's the basic thing is once you get the hood plates on, and then you just have the hood pinned on, you have then you have to raise the hood pins up to where you actually get a good tight. And the front part of my hood will actually move just a little bit, but the back side, because of the rubber gasket that's on the firewall, it actually keeps it pretty good tight on the back. But the front does have a little bit of movement, and I could actually bring it down just a little bit, but I have trouble with it's just about as tight as I can get it and still got to get the pins in. So it doesn't really have any problems. I've actually driven this truck and I've actually had it on the track recently, and don't have any problems with the hood trying to move or buckle. Of course, I mean, I'm not setting any world speed records with this truck or anything like that, but up to 100 miles an hour, it's good to go. So that's the easiest way of setting these hoods up as far as mounting them. But I got one more cool thing to show you, and you may have caught it earlier in the video, and that's these lift risers to actually set this hood up like an old 60s Mopar for show car shows and stuff. So I'll show it to you right now. All right, so as you saw earlier in the video, you may have noticed that I had the hood sitting up high on this truck, so you can see under the hood and see the engine and everything. And I did that by using these hood risers that I made. It's something I've always wanted to do for a show truck kind of deal, is to have these rods set up. So when I take a truck to a car show, I can set the hood up high so you can see under it and have the hood secured. So I can actually leave the truck and go around a car show and check out all the other rides while my hood is safe and secure, but still open enough where you can see under it. So I made these 4 hood pin risers, and I just used some 5/8 tubing to make these hood pin risers. So I just bought some 5/8 tubing and cut it to the right length that I wanted to have for the right hood height, and that's 20 inches long rods. And when I bought the hood and 2 sets of hood pins from Jegs. I bought it all at one time. So I used the first set of hood pins to secure the hood to the truck, and I used the second set of hood pins for my hood risers. So what I did was I just cut it out to the right length, and then I welded the hood pins to the risers just like I did when I welded the pins to the truck itself to mount the hood. And on the other side, I just drilled a hole so that the hood pin could pass through. And once I put it all on there, the tube was actually a little bit larger than the hood pins themselves, so it's kind of wobbly. So I got my dad to help me set the layup, and I took some brass and made some brass bushings, and I got them put into the tube. And as you see, the fit and finish is really nice on the bushings I put in here. So it keeps the hood really nice and secure, and it makes it look, I think it looks really neat. This is definitely like 60s, 70s era show car stuff. A lot of your late 60s Mopars that had that fiberglass hoods you'd see in all the magazines and stuff when I was growing up. You see these cars and stuff, the hoods are all set up high, and they had the pins raised. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So that's why the reason why I did it like this was because I love taking this truck to car shows, and I love to be able to show off the engine and stuff. So the way these hoods are, as light as this hood is at 20 pounds, The only way to actually see the engine is to take the hood off, because there's no hinges or anything. But as big as this hood is and as light as it is, if it's not secured and any kind of wind blows, these hoods turn into a kite in a hurry. And I've been at a racetrack before at the dirt drags when the storm comes rolling up on a springtime storm in the Delta, and when you see a whole herd of these hoods go flying through a cornfield, makes you wonder, makes you really think about actually keeping these hoods secured. So it's really nice. In order to set them up, what you do is use a helper like I'm showing you right here. I got my dad to help me set the hood on these risers. So you just set the hood up on the roof of the truck, and then you set the pins, and you pin the hood risers onto the actual hood pins, and then you just set the hood on top of the risers, and then you pin up the top part of it, and then the hood is set up, it's safe and secure, and I think it looks pretty cool. And then you're safe to leave your truck and keep your engine where you can display it at car shows and stuff like that. So I actually keep the hood risers with me. I keep them behind the seat wrapped up in a towel. So whenever I go to a car show, I always have them close by so I can put them on. So I really like that. I'm really excited. I can't wait to go to a car show. I haven't had it at a car show, and with all this craziness going on, the car shows hasn't been around. Of course, it's been raining constantly all spring long, so any car show that could have happened has been rained out anyway. So whenever there is a car show, I cannot wait to put them hood pins and raise my hood up and show off everything. So that just about wraps this video up. The hood install was really simple, and I hope you find this video helpful and enjoy the video. So if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe at the bottom of the page, and keep on coming back here to Alliecat Customs.